session 4 ng Salid Kaalaman tungo sa pananaliksik ng ating kaguruan sa bayan ng Maribeles. Second phase. So today would be our last session po, no? Our fourth session po. Okay. So we are 19 po. 19 na po tayo lahat. So pwede na po tayo magsimula. Okay, so but before that, kumustahin po muna siguro natin yung mga output po, no? Yung mga titles po natin or ating mga research work. Kumusta na po ba ang status po ng ating mga ginagawa pong studies? Okay, si Ma'am Mutia Manuel. Nandito na po ba si Ma'am Mutia?
Hello, Sir Benji. Good morning.
Hello, Ma'am. Good morning po.
Good morning po sa lahat. So as of now, sir, nakapag-conduct na po ako ng pre-test para sa aking study po.
Wow. Sige po, Ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you po, Ma'am. How about Ma'am Janice? Ma'am Janice? Dito na po ba si Ma'am? Wala pa po ata. Janice, wala pa po. Ma'am Lorna. Kumusta na po?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning po, Ma'am. Okay, si Sir Jonathan. Sir Jonathan, kumusta po yung study natin? Okay, so we hope po, no?
Hello po.
Good morning, sir.
Sir, good morning po. Nagpapa-validate pa rin po ako ng instrument, ng tool ko po for the research po sa test implementation. And then after po nun is I will be conducting my reliability test po.
Okay.
Kasi po pang fourth quarter pa naman po yung scope ng test ko.
Okay po, Sir Jonathan.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much po.
Thank you, sir, for updating. Okay, so we hope po, no, na nandun na po tayo sa part ng administration of our test. Kung meron na po tayong test na i-administer or questionnaire. And makapagsimula na po tayo to write the results and discussion po ng ating studies. Ano po? So today po, gaya nga po nasabi ko kanina, this would be the last session, the fourth session po of our second phase, Salin Kaalaman tungo sa pananaliksik ng ating kaguruan sa bayan ng Maribeles. Okay, so let's begin po with a short prayer.
Dear God, thank you for the opportunity to meet together. Please help us to come together to make this institution reflect your kingdom. Breathe life into our ideas and decisions. Help us build a team that has love and respect at its heart. Give us the strength to continue working for your kingdom in this time of pandemic. Lord, come give us the inspiration to be the best we can be. May we be a shining example of your goodness and truth within, wherever we are. Inspire our thoughts, discussions, and ideas, and continue to remind us that all that we do here today, all that we accomplish, is for the pursuit of truth for the greater glory of you. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Okay, so let's now have a roll call. Okay, kindly put any emoticons po once you were called. Any emoticons po para lang po ma-recognize natin yung presence po ng bawat isa. Ano po? Okay, simulan po muna natin sa ating mga facilitators from PUP Bataan. Sabay-sabay na po yun. PUP Bataan. Okay, so andyan na po sila Sir Honeybird, Sir June Barlis. Okay, how about our facilitators from MAAP? Okay, good morning po, Ma'am Edlin.
Morning, sir.
Morning po, Sir Popoy. Diyan na po si Sir Popoy. Si Ma'am Reg. Yan.
Good morning, sir.
Morning po. Okay, so how about schools from Upper Maribeles? From the Upper Maribeles. Para minsana na po. Okay. Emoticons lang po. Yan, good morning po Ma'am Marcy. Si Ma'am Marcy lang po ba ang upper natin? Sir Jonathan, upper. Please put emoticons po. Okay, so how about the teachers from Lower Maribeles? From the Lower Maribeles. Good morning, Ma'am Crazy. Yan, si Ma'am Melissa, good morning po. Ma'am Manuel Mutia, good morning. Ma'am Maricel. Si Ma'am Robilyn Clarito. Yan, okay. Okay, so all in all po, sir, we are 20 po in the room. Okay, so once again, good morning po. And hindi na po natin patatagalin, ano? Hindi na po natin patatagalin. Let me introduce po our speaker for today. Okay, so our speaker for today is a faculty member of the Polytechnic University of the Philippines, Bataan branch, where he is also an alumnus and graduated cum laude. He passed the licensure examination for teachers in 2013 and became a public elementary school teacher for 5 years before entering the university. He's a member of several professional organizations and had presented in international and national research conferences. Mr. Dayanan is at this time enrolled at the Bataan Peninsula State University in the Doctor of Education program, major in educational management, and developing his proficiencies in research and publication. So let us all welcome po our speaker, Mr. Hanibert Dayanan. Let's give him a virtual clap po.
Good morning po. Naririnig ako?
Yes po, sir.
Thank you very much po, Dr. Benji, for that introduction. Actually po, for yung last part po ng introduction dun about sa BPSU, no? I am currently working on the what do you call this? Preparing for the comprehensive exams, no? Hindi pa po ako nakaka-move on sa part na iyon. But anyway, allow me to share my screen. Thank you very much once again, Doc Benji. No?
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so nakikita na po yung aking screen.
Yes po, sir.
Okay, so
siya sir, hindi po naka full screen.
hindi siya naka full screen. Sige, okay
Yes,
lang. Para makita ko yung faces ng ating participants. No? Thank you po, Doc. The topic assigned to me is the final chapter, no, writing conclusions and recommendations. So I think of based doon sa aking discussion later on, I think of somewhat like what do you call this? A catchy title, no, for this presentation. So I have this what, so what, and now what, no? Parang sarcastic yung arrive ng title. However, this is something to do with my presentation, and hopefully this would be some sort of generalization and realization of what will our paper or the last chapter, the final chapter of our paper would look like, no? So the writing conclusions and recommendations. So for the objectives for today's activity, you are to identify few steps, no, to follow to enable you to write a good conclusion for your research paper. And secondly, you are to identify few guidelines to enable you to write a good recommendation for your research paper. And lastly, this is very important, no, you are to communicate your insights drawn, no, from the examples given. Kasi later on, I will give you some examples, and then you are to we will make this a webinar as interactive as possible, no. We will try to communicate or you will try to communicate your insights from the examples to be presented later on. So that's for the objective. But before I proceed, no, I would like to say good morning to all of our facilitators, the coordinators of this um, uh, training workshop series, and of course our facilitators, no, from the MAAP. And of course, our participants, good morning. It has been, ilan na ba? This is the last day, no? This is the last part of our phase 2. Yay, congratulations. Nasa phase 2 na po tayo. And patapos na yung ating phase 2, no? And I am hoping, or we are all hoping that all of our papers, no, which was submitted to the division office of Bataan would be approved, no? Yung iba approved na. We have 15 already. Nakita ko kanina, no, sa slides or sa presentation. We already have 15 approved papers, proposals. Congratulations po. And sa mga hindi pa po nakaka-receive ng approval or sa mga na-approve na pero wala pa dun sa video kanina, congratulations din. And of course, para dun sa mga hindi pa, naghihintay pa ng approval, hopefully, soon, no, before mag-end yung ating, today, no, sana, before mag-end yung ating, what do you call this, yung ating webinar today, sana ay makakuha na tayo ng sagot from the division office. Okay, so, writing the research paper actually is very stressful, no? Sa iba, lalo na sa mga proficient na mga writers, researchers already, madali na lang sa kanilang mag-formulate, mag-conceptualize, pero sa mga novice na mga writers and sa mga hindi naman talaga gumagawa ng research papers or hindi nila part ng profession, medyo mahirap, no? And however, as you go deeper into your writing, tulad ngayon, nasa tapos na yung proposal ninyo, you are already conducting your study, yung writing becomes more easier and easier, no? So however, and like every form, no, of writing, research papers also have formats. Alam naman na po natin yan. And you must follow to enable you to write a very comprehensive and worthy of reading na, what do you call this, research paper. And related to my topic, no, the conclusions and recommendations are somewhat essential, hindi siya somewhat, no, actually essential part then of the research paper. And also, it marks, no, the end of the research paper. Yay, and na both the conclusion and recommendations must be taken seriously as they are the very last impression, you know, that you will leave in the minds of your readers, no. So the conclusion and recommendation are, what do you call this, have the ability to add beauty, no, and technicality to your piece of writing. Imagine kasi pag walang conclusion and recommendation, parang kulang, parang hindi tapos, no. Actually, hindi talaga tapos, no. So no matter how much or how best you have written the other chapters, like no matter how good you are or best you are in writing your introduction, no matter how good you are in conceptualizing your research design, no, or other chapters of your paper, it wouldn't matter, no, if your conclusion and recommendation lacks soul. So basically, the conclusion and recommendation, ito yung kaluluwa, no, ng ating study, ng ating research paper. So it is important, I would like to note, no, that the conclusion and recommendations may be also combined, no. Pwede yan i-combine in some other papers, especially if it's in an IMRAD format, no. Meron ng parang kinagko-combine na nila yung conclusions and recommendations, no. Pwede siyang i-present ng sabay, pwede din, pero in our case, no, you are writing your what do you call this? You are writing your action research and the division office have its template, the what do you call this? Nawala ako no, I'm sorry. Where am I? The conclusion and recommendations should be presented separately. Okay? So how are we going to write the conclusion and recommendation? Okay, so but before we proceed to that, let us go back to the previous discussion. Yung previous discussion talks about the results and discussion part of your research paper. So according to these slides, this came from yung presentation. The next two slides of the presentation came from these slides from the division office. So according to them, results and discussion, this part presents the results and findings. Take note of this. The results and findings. This was discussed last meeting. The data analysis and the interpretation. Okay, so to answer this part, the researcher must answer the following questions after the action plan is implemented. So isulat mo tong results and discussion after mo nang mag-implement ng pre-test, mag-administer or mag-administer ng inyong pre-test, mag-implement ng inyong intervention, and mag-administer ng inyong post-test. So you have to answer these questions in writing your results and discussions. And this was explained already, but I would just like to give some review, point to review. So what results came after implementing the action plan? So you should be very truthful in writing your results. I would like to take note of that. And secondly, you have to provide answers to the research questions. You have to answer your results must answer the research questions based on the results and findings. So tulad na sinabi before, you have to yung inyong mga questionnaire or yung mga ginagawa ninyo align doon sa inyong research questions. Okay, so this is for the results and discussions. The next slide from the division office, the summary, conclusions, and recommendations. So this part states the general findings of the study, and based on this, the researcher gives recommendations. Number one, question, how can the findings and conclusions be meaningful and relevant to the researcher? Okay, so ibig sabihin, the findings and conclusions, ibig sabihin parang related pala dapat. So yung meron na tayong idea yung findings and conclusions dapat kasi pinagsabay sila, ibig sabihin connected dapat yung content ng findings and conclusions. It should be meaningful and relevant to the researcher. And second question, what can the researcher recommend? Kaya nga recommendations. So this slide, these two slides came from the division office of Bataan, and this was also presented during our first phase, when I believe when Ma'am Mar Ellen presented the parts of the action paper or action research paper. Okay, so for the third objective, we will generate your insights from the examples presented. So I want you to look on this example. Okay, so this is the research question. Balikan natin kasi sabi kanina, the findings and the conclusions should or the research questions or the findings must answer research questions, and your research questions must and the findings must be connected to the research questions. So I have here an example of the research questions. This example came from the research paper or action research, which was presented sa Division Office of Bataan. And this was approved, this was conducted, and this was presented in the research colloquium. I just do not know kung ito yung research paper na approved for external funding. However, binigay ko sa inyo example na ito kasi ito yung paper approved by the division office. And tayo naman ay magsasubmit doon sa division office. So no better example will suffice, no, kundi yung galing na mismo sa division office kasi sila yung approving body, no? Okay, so take a look at this research questions. Okay, tignan natin mabuti. The action research aimed to determine the effectiveness of songs in improving the retention and recall of science concepts among grade 6 pupils. So specifically, it is intended to answer the following questions. So what is the level of performance in control and experimental groups before the study? What is the level of performance in control and experimental groups after the study? So before and after. Is there a significant difference in the level of performance of the control group and the experimental group in the pre-test? Tapos yung kasunod nun, significant difference ng post-test and significant difference in the mean gain scores between the experimental and the control group. So ito yung research questions. Now, let's take a look at this. Results, no? Ito na yung findings, no? Balikan natin. Tignan lang na, let's focus lang doon sa question number 1. Okay? Question number 1 lang, ha? And then let's proceed doon sa first result. Nasagot ba ng result na ito yung question number 1? Anybody? Can I have pwede ba akong makahingi dyan ng ano? Wait lang po. Wait lang po Hindi ko kayo makita.
Or maybe they can answer through our chat box. Tapos babasahin ko po.
Yes, thank you, Doc Benji. No? Yun na lang siguro, that's the best way. Kasi I would like to generate their answers. Tapos later on, we will present, no, doon sa slides na ipe-present po. Anyway, yeah, thank you, Doc. Nasagot ba, participants? Nasagot ba yung question number 1? Meron ba tayong mga sagot dyan, Doc? Ayan, meron pala. Nakikita ko pala, Doc Benji. Ayan, so thank you very much po. Madami pong nagsagot ng yes, yes po. Okay, so ayan, naka-yes po yung gumawa ng paper na ito. Anyway, yeah. Tama po kayo, nasagot po ng result or ng findings itong question number 1. Now, di ba nga kasi dapat si research question, dapat nasagot ni findings. And si findings and conclusion, dapat magkaparehas. Di ba? So, dapat nag-jive sila. Okay? So, let's take a look at this conclusion. Sa conclusion number 1, kasi this action research had 5 conclusions, no? So sa conclusion number 1, nasagot po ba or magkaparehas po ba si first result?
Yes.
At saka yes, thank you very much po, Ma'am Lorna, the very beautiful from Kabkaben. Ayan, yes, tama po kayo, no, Ma'am Lorna. Nasagot po. Pero bakit parang ano po yung napapansin niyo dito sa results at saka sa conclusion? Ano yung observation? Balik ko po yung results, ha. Ito po yung result. Ito po yung conclusion. Ano po yung napansin niyo? Yung focus lang po tayo sa number 1.
Hello, sir. Kasi sa findings, pwede po mag-butt-in.
Yes po, yes po. Mas maganda po yan.
Na-confirm po kasi doon yung results ng sa question po ninyo. And it was clearly stated and confirmed if the hypothesis is rejected or accepted.
Okay. So
And also to understand kasi within the findings, sa pagkakaalam ko po, you need to have the art of articulating the results to break into pieces yung questions po natin and to view the problem from the perspective. Yun lang po.
Okay, thank you very much po, no, Doc Lorna, for the observation. Ayan, so tama po si Ma'am Lorna, no? So, in detail po yung explanation dito sa walang itinago si researcher dito sa kanyang results, no? So nag-present siya ng
Yes
table,
po. Opo.
nag-present siya ng in paragraph form, pinresent niya yung what do you call this? Yung kung ano yung nakikita sa table na very salient, no, very important doon sa kanyang results, no. And dito naman po kaya sa conclusion, ano yung napansin niyo? Let's compare, no, let's compare. Conclusion number 1, ano po yung napapansin natin? Kung ano yung po yung unang papasok sa isip po ninyo, pwede po kayong mag-chat sa ating chat box. Ano po yung unang papasok? Binabalik-balik ko lang po, no? Conclusion number 1 and the first result.
Parang
Yes po, Doc Lorna.
parang analysis siya, sir, ng result dito sa discussion of the results natin. Doon sa conclusion, parang analyze mo lang what will be the result from your findings. Parang ganon.
Okay, so thank you po. Analyze. Siguro yun yung kukunin nating term, no? Ina-analyze lang. Okay, so in comparison, ano pa yung mga nakikita ninyo? Yung itsura niya. Doon tayo pumunta sa itsura niya. Baka may makuha kayo doon. Ito yung discussion part and this is the conclusion. Yung number 1, the first conclusion lang. Based doon sa itsura niya. Hindi nyo ba napapansin na medyo madami itong si results and discussion, tapos itong si first conclusion ay parang one-liner lang. Di ba? So ano yung pwede nating masabi dito? Anyone? Pwede nyo pong i-chat kung kayo po ay nahihiyang mag-unmute ng inyong microphones. Kailangan po may makita kayo, may ma-observe po tayo kasi later on you will write your results, your recommendations or conclusions and recommendations based from your findings. Okay, so kailangan meron tayong observation dito. Okay, so sinabi ni Ma'am Lorna na the conclusion ay somewhat like interpretation of the results, no? Ano pa po? Ano pa po yung mapapansin natin? Check natin tong research questions. Balikan natin. Tignan natin, no? Yung research questions, ilan kaya to? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Di ba po? Yung conclusion, ilan din po ba? Yung conclusion, ilan po ba? Okay, very good po, Doc Benji. No? 5 din. Okay. So ano yung pwede nating ma-draw na insights from the observation? No? Na lima yung meron ditong 5 research questions, tapos meron din 5 conclusions. Ano pwede nating ma-draw na insights dito? Okay, so meron ditong mga answers, no? So according to Ma'am Maricel, yung answer po ng research questions, nawala. Yung conclusion, okay, so or better, siguro pwede natin sabihin na yung conclusion responds, no, to the research questions. Okay, so pwede sigurong ganon. And sabi po ni, yes po. Go ahead po. You're recognized.
Tulungan ko kayong magbasa, sir, ng answer nila, no?
Thank you very much po, Dr. Benji.
Yes, according to Ma'am Edlin, it is addressing all the SOP and it must be aligned, just like what you have said a while back, sir.
Thank you.
According to Sir Jonathan po, the conclusion must answer the research questions drawn from the result of the analysis of the study. And likewise po, according to Sir June, naka-align silang lahat sa SOP. So those are the answers po, sir.
Okay, so thank you very much po, no? Alam niyo na pala to mag-explain pa ba ako? This is the beauty no of the interactive na discussion, though virtual siya, kasi kung like face to face ito, mas magandang gawin ito, no, pero virtually pwede pala siya nating gawin. Okay, thank you very much mo for responding sa ating tawag dito, sa ating mga questions, no. And I have here tama po, no, naka-align yung research questions doon, yung conclusions doon sa research questions. And proven po yan. Ito po yung pangalawang action research, which this was also presented and submitted and presented sa ating Division Office of Bataan. No? Again, wala akong better examples na ipoprovide sa inyo, kundi yung approved mismo ng ating approving body. Okay? Which is the Division Office of Bataan. Okay, so kanina yung thought is naka-align dapat sa SOP yung results, and of course naka-align din dapat yung conclusion doon sa SOP. So I have here examples to prove that. Okay, so ito another research paper, as I have said earlier, na first research question. Okay, so what are the least mastered competencies of grade 1 pupils in mathematics? Based on the diagnostic test. So this research paper used the parent teacher-parent partnerships in improving the grade 1 pupils' performance in mathematics. Okay, so and based dito sa example natin, nakikita ba natin naka-align po ba si research question number 1 and si the first conclusion? Na-identify po ba ang mga least mastered skills or competencies? Okay, so very good po ang observation. Tama po yan. Naka-align po sila. Nasagot po or naipakita po, na-conclude po ni conclusion na meron ngang mga research na mga least mastered skills yung grade 1. Ay sir, paano po pag halimbawa sa result, wala naman palang nakitang least mastered skills? Ay kailangan nyo pa rin pong maging truthful doon. Dapat, kung ano ang nakita nyo doon sa result, yun din ang isusulat mo dito. Pwede pong halimbawa, what are the least mastered competencies of grade 1 pupils in mathematics based on the diagnostic test? Nagkanda ka ng diagnostic test, walang least mastered skills. Eh sir, isusulat ko po ba na there are least mastered skills? Of course, hindi. Pwede nyo pong sabihin na wala. Pwede po kayong mag-oppose doon sa inyong assumptions, no? When writing the research paper, kasi nga you should have to be very truthful doon sa inyong study na ginagawa. Okay, so proceed tayo sa second question. What is the level of performance of pupils? Pasensya niyo na ako, no? Bisaya kasi ako, so I might tend to pronounce the words, no? In a way na parang hindi medyo maganda sa ears, no? So what is the level of performance of pupils before and after the study? Okay, so nasagot ba or na-conclude ba ni research ko ni conclusion number 2? I guess, no? Yes, hindi pala I guess. Yes, na-conclude siya na yung performance did not meet expectations before, and then after, naging outstanding. So yun yung pinapakita ng conclusion. Okay, so next. Ay sir, eto. Tatlo lang po yung kanyang research questions. Tatlo lang din po yung kanyang recommendations, yung kanyang conclusions dapat, di ba? Bakit dito 4? Okay? Bakit dito 4? Ano kaya sa tingin ninyo? Ano kaya itong pang-4 na ito? Pang-4 na conclusion. Itong nasa ilalim po, conclusion po ito, no? Itong nasa ibabaw ay, what do you call this? Ay research question. Ano po yung madodraw natin na insight from this example? Is there a significant difference in the level of performance of pupils before and after the study? Dito naman po, nasagot ni research question or naipakita, na-conclude ni conclusion yung third question based na rin doon sa findings. Sir, bakit may pang fourth na na conclusion? Bakit po kaya? Basahin natin yung conclusion number 4. The improvement in the level of performance of pupils can be concluded or can conclude that parents played a vital role. Tandaan natin ha, this research or action research tends to check the effectiveness of this program, yung teacher-parent partnership, in improving the level of performance of grade 1 pupils in mathematics. Okay, so the vital role in learning accomplishments of children. So improving their numeracy skills is a contributory factor, in the improved performance of the pupils. Bakit may pang 4? Any idea? Meron ba tayong idea dyan? Bakit may pang 4th? Ano tayo? Conclusion. Kahit ano lang. Pwede kayong mag-unmute, pwede kayong message sa ating chat box. Para lang magkaroon lang tayo ng idea. Bakit may pang 4? Sabi nga dapat naka-align si questions, si findings and conclusions. Si research questions, kung 3 lang siya, dapat 3 lang din yung findings, dapat 3 lang din si recommendation or si conclusion.
Sir, may answer na po sa chat box.
Yes, go ahead po, Doc Benji. Thank you po.
From Ma'am Robilin Clarito, sabi niyo po, for emphasis, may question mark po. And also from Sir Jonathan, overall summary of the conclusion, question din po. Yan, question mark.
Okay, so for emphasis, for the overall summary of the conclusions, tignan natin, kasi later on i-discuss natin tong mga May other May other observations pa ba or other insights na nakikita? Halimbawa, nakita nyo to, bakit nga may pang 4? Okay, so I am encouraging no other answers. Tignan natin later on kung ito bang mga i-recognize natin, tignan natin kung itong mga insights ninyo ay magtutugma doon sa kung bakit merong pang 4th na na conclusion dito. Okay, so wala na. May other answers pa ba dyan, Doc Benji?
Sir, wala naman na po.
Okay, so wala na. Okay, so let's proceed now, Okay, so ready na ba kayo? Actually, sabi ko nga po sa inyo kanina, mahirap ang research paper, magsulat, pero habang palalim na palalim yung pagsusulat niyo, parang padali ng padali. Napapansin niyo, nung nagsimula kayo magsulat ng inyong introduction, ang dami-daming mga pointers, di ba? Ang dami-daming mga kailangan gawin, ang dami-daming kailangan sundin, di ba? So, ngayon, meron tayo dito, dadalawa lang. Okay, so to proceed with the conclusion section of your research paper, it must focus on discussing essential features of and the significant outcomes of your research paper. So i-discuss mo yung inyong findings o yung iyong results, i-conclude mo siya. That is why kung napansin nyo kanina sa research sa results kanina, sobrang dami ni result A. Pero pagdating sa first conclusion, ay one-liner lang. So kailangan pala, dapat essential features lang and significant outcomes lang of your research paper. So hindi na ganun kadami. Dapat parang summary, tama nga po yung pagkakasabi kanina. Yes, parang closing sentence. Okay? So yung conclusion highlights the importance of your research to your readers after they read your conclusion. Ako nga po, kapag halimbawa naghahanap ako ng mga relevant na studies and literatures, ang tinitignan ko agad, aside from the abstract, ang tinitignan ko kaagad, results and findings, conclusions, and recommendations. Okay? Kasi yun yung para sa akin, nagsasabi kung ano ang what the paper is all about. Okay? So it also serves as a round off of the story para kasi kayo nagkukwento eh. So parang ito yung generalization ng inyong kwento. The conclusion must be written in relation, no, to your research, to the introduction of your research paper. Later on, i-discuss natin. So we have here steps. Meron tayong dalawa. Unang-una, excuse me po, no, nakaririnig niyo po yung aking background noise.
Yes, sir, pero okay naman po.
Bearable naman po.
Yes, sir, bearable.
Wait lang po. May close lang ako. One moment lang po. Ayan, so alam niyo naman po sa area namin, masyadong mayayaman yung mga tao. Pagawa sila ng pagawa. Sana all. Anyway, the first statement dito, first na una nyong i-consider is you have to really find logical connections. Tama po kayo kanina sa mga sinabi niyo na si research questions, si findings, and conclusion dapat logically connected. Okay, so the conclusion should summarize. That's the correct na term. Summarize, tama po yung nagsabi kanina ng summary. Summarize your research paper. So don't begin, wag na tayong magdadagdag ng other ideas in this section. So you should i-restate mo lang yung main points kung ano yung nakalagay doon sa iyong research questions, findings, yung main points lang yung sasabihin mo doon sa iyong conclusion. And provide the synthesis. Pag sinabi natin synthesis, this is the gist of your results and discussion. So this means that you should find logical connections really between the research questions, your objectives, your hypothesis, di ba? Dapat nasagot yun eh. Dapat na i-prove na tama si hypothesis or dapat na i-prove na hindi tama si hypothesis or mali ang iyong assumptions. Regardless kung tama or mali ang assumptions, dapat nakasulat yun doon truthfully sa iyong conclusion. Okay, so the findings of the study this will ensure na yung inyong conclusion ay parang hindi maging taliwas or hindi maging malayo doon sa research paper mo or sa iyong mga sinulat. Ito yung tinanong mo tapos ito yung sagot mo, para kang para tayong sa conversation ba, sa dialogue na kumain ka na ba? Mamaya na. Parang ganon. Di ba? Sa research question, sa conclusion hindi ganyan. Pag tinanong ka, kumain ka na ba? Pag kumain ka na ba? Anong sagot natin? Di ba? Dapat what is truthful doon sa kung ano yung tanong, yun yung sagot. Okay? So tama po ba ako? Okay, so hindi tayo dapat katulad sa dialogue na kumain ka na ba? Mamaya na. Ganon, di ba? Okay, so dapat you have to find logical connections. Secondly, you have to ensure your conclusions is linked to your kanina, Ito, yung mayroon siyang pang fourth na what do you call this? Na conclusion. Okay? So, yung paper na to speaks about the importance of the teacher-parent partnership or the importance of the role of the parents doon sa learning ng kanyang estudyante o ng kanyang anak. Okay? So therefore, you have to really ensure na part of your conclusion is linked to your introduction. Okay? So kung sinasabi mo na si teacher-parent partnership, sinasabi ng ibang studies na nakalagay dun sa introduction mo na si teacher-parent partnership is very important and napatunayan mo na ganun nga, important nga sa iyong results and discussions, then if you find it important, isama mo rin sa iyong conclusion. Okay? Kasi dapat, okay, parang, di ba? Parang sinasabi natin, di ba? Tama ako. Parang ganon. Di ba? So you really have to link, your conclusion to your introduction. Kasi parang ito yung si introduction, yung parang magsasabi ng what do you call this? Na tama ako, 'di ba? Sa sinasabi ko na ganito ganyan sa iyong introduction. Okay? So parang sa short stories, no, then the writer, parang yung si writer, nagsasabi siya ng about sa ganito, ganyan, may storyline. At the end, parang nandun yung impact ng story na, okay, ito pala dapat. Okay? Okay, tama pala itong gawin. Okay? So dapat, nandyan yan sa iyong conclusion. Una, find logical connections doon sa questions, findings, and conclusion. And of course, you have to ensure na yung conclusion is linked to your introduction. Okay, now let's proceed to how to write a recommendation for your research paper. I-discuss pa ba natin to? Unang-una, it should be concrete and specific. Okay? Concrete and specific. Anong ibig nating sabihin dito sa pagiging concrete and specific? Okay, kasi recommendations, parang ito yung nagko-call, hindi siya parang. This part calls for solutions to the problems. Ito yung problema na nakita mo. Ito yung results. Diba? Napatunayan mo na tama ka based on your results. Ano ngayon ang solusyon na gusto mo, na dapat, no? Na dapat na isulat mo dyan for your readers to realize na ito pala yung dapat gawin. Okay? Kasi based study, empirical results or empirical data. Diba? So this part calls for solutions, no? And for the problems that you have investigated sa iyong research paper. And your recommendations must highlight, no, specific solutions and measures to be implemented based on the findings of your research. Again, based sa findings ng research. Okay? So, bakit kailangan concrete and specific? So, parang ano lang yan, narinig niyo na po ba ito? I know, narinig niyo na ito, no? Cliche naman ito eh. Avoid beating around the bush, di ba? So, huwag na tayong magpaligoy-ligoy pa. Direct to the point. Concrete and specific. Okay, so, as I have said, the solution calls for action and should be specific, no, for the problems that you have stated earlier in your paper. Hindi na tayo mag-introduce ng other ideas, other questions, stick tayo sa findings, no? And the recommendations should connect to your conclusion. Ito yung conclusion ko. Sinabi mo sa conclusion mo na si teacher-parent partnership na program ay effective. Diba? So what could be the recommendation? So dapat connected si recommendation doon kay conclusion. Okay? So, and lastly, you have to explain, no, how the solution you suggested can contribute to solving the problems you stated. Okay, so you call for solutions, no? You have stated your solutions, you proposed for a solution, and then you must state also how the solution that you suggested can contribute to the problems that you have stated. Okay, so sabihin mo yung solution mo, and then you have to explain paano gagawin. Okay? And paano siya nakakatulong. Okay? You should not stop putting down possible solutions. Dapat kung ano yung mga possible solutions na nakikita mo, sulat lang yan ng sulat. Okay? Parang sa pag pre-writing ng recommendation, kung ano yung mga nasulat mong recommendation, sulat mo lang yan. And then, tsaka ka mag-contemplate kung alin ba dapat yung very important lang doon. Okay? You should explain how it can be solved or it can solve the problem highlighted in your research paper. So I have here examples. Tignan natin, no? Okay, so meron yatang nagkamali doon sa chat box natin. Okay, so sa recommendation, ito yung the recommendation, no? 4 recommendations. This is using, no, science songs, no? Science concept-based na mga songs, no? In improving the performance of grade 6 pupils in improving the level of performance of grade 6 pupils. So, ito yung kanyang recommendations. Okay, pansinin natin sa recommendation number 1, sino yung parang important person dito? Kasi meron dalawang personalities dyan eh. Sino yung parang pinaka-important person? Anyone? Meron ba tayo dyan, Doc Benji, sa ano? Sa chat box natin? Tignan natin, sa recommendation number 1, sino yung important person? Okay, meron na tayo dito, mga teachers. Sino pa? Meron pa dyan.
Students.
May na-mention pa. Alin po yun?
The pupils, sir.
Okay, so thank you very much. No? So sa recommendation number 1, the important person, people stated here ay yung pupils at saka yung teachers. Okay, sa recommendation number 2, sino kaya ito? Yung mga
Teachers.
okay, yung mga teachers pa din. Sa recommendation number 3, sino yung parang important people dito? Person dito?
Teachers.
Teachers. Ano pa? Sino pa yung mga na-mention? Administrators. Thank you very much po, Ma'am Rubilin. Okay, so lastly, sa recommendation number 4, sino yung nandito? Sino yung pinapatungkulan ng recommendation?
Pupils and participants.
Participants? Okay, so tama, no? Yung future, aside from the participants mentioned nga dito, meron din future researchers. Thank you very much po for the responses. Ngayon, sa pangalawang recommendation, ito naman ay about teacher-parent partnership program, no? In improving the effectiveness of grade 1 pupils. Okay, so similarly, sa recommendation number 1, meron tayo ditong pupils and teachers. Sa recommendation number 2, meron tayo ditong mga teachers. Na-mention din sa recommendation number 3, school administrators. And similarly, doon sa first example, ang pinapatungkulan dito sa recommendation number 4 ay yung future researchers. Ngayon, itong kung nahihirapan, or itong si pupils, si teachers, si school administrators, yung future researchers, saan natin sila makikita sa part ng paper natin? Saan natin sila makikita? Saan sila na-mention? Sa part ng paper. Kasi may particular part sila ng paper dito, nasunod-sunod silang mini-mention. Okay, so thank you very much, no? Doon sa significance of the study. So, kung nahihirapan ka mag-isip kung ano ba ang pwede kong i-recommend, doon ka tingnan mo doon kung sino-sino ba yung significant people na makikinabang dito sa or maaapektuhan netong iyong study. Okay? So again, aside from the fact na si recommendation ay dapat align doon sa iyong conclusion, balikan mo din yung mga significant people na sinulat doon sa iyong significance of the study. Okay? So thank you very much, no, sa inyong pakikinig. So actually, this is just very brief, no. The conclusion talaga and the recommendation sections in your research paper, as I have said, is very important, no. So it tells the reader that ito na yung last part, no. Ito na yung last part of your paper. Yay, last part na. It also breaks down everything. It breaks down everything your research paper discusses into a more digestible chunks. Yung parang pag binasa nila, pag isinubo nila, ay mangunguya nila at malulunok. Di ba? So, digestible. So, as earlier stated, no, you should avoid, hindi na tayo dapat nag-introduce ng other ideas dito, other informations, aside from your conclusions and recommendations. Okay, so the final chapter, balik tayo dun sa aking title, no? Ng research paper, yung conclusion and recommendation, should is typically labeled as the halimbawa yung findings, results, and discussion. Ano pang tawag sa kanila? Conclusions, and of course the recommendations, and each serve different purposes. Okay, so yung findings, it answers the question what, diba? Ito yung mga question. Ano ang nangyari? Ano ang meron? Diba? Ano ang sagot? Diba? Yung conclusion mo naman, it answered the question, so what? So what? Ito yung sagot, ito yung results. So what? Ano yung conclusion? So what? Diba? And your recommendations answer the question, now what? So after answering questions, so what? You conclude, and now what? You provide now solutions to problems you've stated in your paper. Okay? So it's what, so what, and now what? Thank you very much for listening. These are my references, and mabuhay po tayong lahat.
Yan. Hey, thank you so much po, Sir Hannibert Dayanan, for that very informative, entertaining, no, na presentation po ng inyong topic. Ayan. So may mga baon po kaming mga words from you po, like digestible. Okay. And also yung ating title, na I'm sure babaunin ng ating participants while they are writing the results and discussion, the conclusion, and writing the recommendation of their study, yung napakadaling alalahanin, na words, what, so what, and now what. And we thank you for that po, Sir Hannibert Dayanan. Okay, now, the floor is open po for the question and answer. If you have questions po, we can type in po sa ating chat box, or we can unmute and directly address it po to our resource speaker, Sir Hannibert. Any question po from the participants? Or clarification? Okay. And sir, wala po tayong question from na nakikita sa chat box. No? Mukhang naintindihan naman po ata.
Binayaran ko na po silang lahat para hindi ko
Ganun po ba? Okay, so siguro sir, kung wala na tayong question, siguro later on meron pa silang lumabas, no, or maisipan nila yung questions sila. Let's now proceed to the awarding of certificate po. Okay, let me read po the content of the certificate. So this certificate of appreciation is hereby given to Mr. Hannibert Dayanan of Polytechnic University of the Philippines, Bataan, in grateful acknowledgement of his engagement and insightful academic contribution as a resource speaker, imparting unparalleled knowledge and expertise on the topic, the final chapter, writing conclusions and recommendations during the Salin Kaalaman tungo sa pananaliksik ng ating kaguruan sa bayan ng Mariveles with the theme Building, Developing, and Promoting a Culture of Research in Elementary Schools, a training workshop series for elementary school teachers in the district of Mariveles, held via Zoom on October 27, 2021. Given this 27th day of October 2021, signed Associate Professor Lenila J. Generales, our branch director. Thank you so much po, Sir Hannibert. Okay. Sir, meron po tayong...
Yes, thank you din po, Doc. No? Gusto ko lang po i-recognize itong, i-acknowledge itong isang question from Sir John Fiscaro. He says here na, ask ko lang po, does conclusion can be supported by referred journals to intensify this statement? Actually, this is recommended, no, that you can actually support your claims or your conclusion sa with items, no, or statements from people, especially if it came from the referred journals. Okay. However, though it is encouraged, no, but syempre kailangan less nga po kasi yung ating conclusion. Though it is encouraged, or though it is tawag dito allowed naman, there are, depende kasi sa structure and format ng ating paper, ng body, no, na nag-approve nito, may mga pinapayagan, no, pero meron naman pong iba na hindi po, na pinapatanggal, no. Again, pwede po siyang gawin if you deem, no, that this is really necessary, pero depende po yan sa kung saan niyo po ipapasa yung paper. Other insights po ba, Doc Benji?
Tama po sir yun, no? Depende sa organization, depende sa, for example, you are going to submit that in a journal, depende po sa author's guideline po nila. Ayun. So, in the DepEd, yung sa na-experience ko before, in the conclusion part, they do not allow or discourage na po yung paglalagay ng ganito. So, we can include that po in the discussion, the result and discussion part. However po, kung changes naman po yun or naglagay tayo for example, magko-comment naman po ang nag-check from the division office, I'm sure. Nakamit po, sorry. I would like to remind everyone din po to please answer our evaluation. The evaluation po ng ating session for today and the attendance na makikita po natin sa ating chat box. And i-share na po sa atin ni Sir Jun, Doc Jun, yung ating pong evaluation. Okay? The attendance form and evaluation. So as of now po, yung evaluation po nasa chat na po natin, chat box na po. Please answer it po. Then after this po, magpo-photo off po muna tayo before tayo mag-proceed sa ating breakout session or breakout rooms. Okay? So may I request everyone po to please open our camera. Sir Jun, sino po ang pwede nating mag-take po ng screenshot?
Sige sir, ako na lang po.
Okay po. So before po tayo magpunta sa breakout rooms natin, no? Photo op po muna tayo, mga kasama.
Open cam lang po. Open cam. Ready. Smile. 1, 2, 3. Wait lang po ah. Isa pa po. Ready. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Magpo-proceed na po ba tayo sa breakout rooms?
Yes po sir. Naka-open na po.
Okay po. So we have 30 minutes po, sir, no? For the breakout rooms. Breakout sessions.
Join na lang po kayo sa breakout room na naka-assign po sa inyo. Ay, Sir Benji, may announcement pala ako. Bago ko
Yes, sir.
malimutan.
Announcement po.
Kasi po, meron po sa ating mga kasama na ang kanilang activity po ay nasa 4th quarter pa po ng term. So kung gusto niyo pong balikan lahat po ng mga napag-usapan po natin ngayon, nakapost po siya doon po sa ating GC sa district. Pwede niyo po siyang balik-balikan po doon anytime po. Para kung may questions kayo, pwede niyo pong balikan. And huwag niyo pong aalisin yung communication po sa ating mga facilitators. Kasi baka po dumating ang time, mahiya po kayo sa facilitators. So po kayo mahiya sa kanila, tutulungan po tayo ng mga yan. Magagaling po yung mga yan pagdating sa research. Tanong lang po tayo, kahit po tapos po tayo ng phase 2, at medyo matagal po yung ginagawa natin sa phase 2, magtanong lang po tayo na magtanong sa facilitators. Or kahit po kanino sa amin, pwede po kayo magtanong para po mag-guide din po namin. Kahit ma-share po namin sa inyo yung aming nalalaman ng konti sa research. Thank you, Sir Benji.
Thank you po, Doc Jun. So yun nga po, no? Kahit tapos na po tayo, continuous pa rin po yung ating communication. And continuous pa rin po yung ating ginagawa na research. Okay, any announcement pa po? Bukod dun sa announcement ni Doc Jun from the facilitators, baka may announcement pa po tayo. Sir Honeybird?
Doc Benji, wala naman na po sa akin.
Okay po. Ma'am Edlin?
Wala naman po, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Siguro po before we end, gusto ko lang po na hingan din ng final message or final tips siguro coming from our facilitators as we work on our results and discussions o yung next part po ng ating research. Baka po meron tayong mga messages or tips po sa rest po ng ating participants. Kahit short lang po, no? Words of motivations or ganyan po. Can we start from Sir Hannibal?
Thank you very much po, no, Doc Benji. Siguro ano lang, two things lang, no. Balikan po natin yung mga on your paper, balikan po natin yung mga recommendations and suggestions na galing po sa division office. Ano po? Baka po may makita pa po tayo doon to improve our may makita pa po tayo mga pointers doon, no, to improve our paper. And second point po, last point po, ay i-enjoy po natin yung ginagawa natin. Pag napapagod, edi magpahinga, pero huwag po tayong mag-i-stop, no. Siguro we should allot kahit mga like 1 hour lang in a day para at least magawa po natin yung manuscript natin or yung kailangan nating gawin to implement our what do you call this, instructional or in, nakalimutan ko yung term, Doc Benji, can you help me? Yung implement your innovation, your instructional materials, or your program. Ano po. With that, yeah, enjoy. Thank you.
Yan, thank you po, Sir Hannibal, no? Enjoy lang daw. Okay? How about Ma'am Edlin? From Ma'am Edlin po.
Yes po, sir. Natawa ko doon sa enjoy lang eh. May naalala na naman tuloy ako. Ako, Sir Benji, enjoy na enjoy ako sa pilar eh. Okay. So, sisigunduhan ko lang po yung sinabi ni Sir Benji. Ay, ni Sir Honeybird, sorry. So, enjoy the process po. Ako naman po walang problema sa grupo namin sa English dito. Kasi po, we have established yung GC. And then today po, we have made a common folder sa Google Drive. So, doon ko po minomonitor yung mga progress nila. Although yung iba po, dahil busy nga, so wala sila. So, one of the key factors po sa success ng endeavor natin is yung well-established communication. Okay? So, with communication po, please let all understand din po yung mga facilitators if ever po hindi kami agad-agad nakakasagot. Kasi minsan po kahit gabi may nagme-message. Pero rest assured po, if we are free and there would be time, okay, sasagutin naman po namin. Sa ano ko po, sa grupo ko po, actually masisipag sila Sir Ethan, sila Mamutya. Okay, yan po yung mga talagang hindi bumibitaw eh. So, congratulations po. We're done with phase 2. So, hopefully po, sa phase 3, nandyan pa rin kayo. And tulad po rin ng sinasabi ko sa mga kagrupo ko sa English, kahit po waiting pa rin tayo ng paper natin, more or less. Oh, yes, Sir June. More or less. Okay. Ako po kanina sabi ko sa grupo ko, I commend Ma'am Clarito. Kasi po si Ma'am Clarito, still waiting siya sa paper niya sa DO, from DO. Pero I commend her. Kasi po if you are really dedicated sa ginagawa nyo as a researcher, ma-identify nyo na po yung mga things to work on kahit na hinihintay nyo pa yung paper nyo. So katulad po ni Ma'am Clarito sa other participants natin, while waiting po sa mga papers nyo kahit po nasa DO, siguro po we suggest na you focus po sa other parts na pwede na rin po nating galawin and pwede na rin po nating i-work on. Okay, yun lang po Sir Benji. Thank you.
Thank you po Ma'am Edlin, no? Maganda po 'yun. Sana ma-adapt din po natin yung pagkakaroon ng management kung saan may platform po no, kung saan masasubmit talaga yung mga work nila para ma-monitor din po talaga natin. And yeah po, masipag po talaga yan si Ma'am Clarito. Co-teacher ko po yan nung nasa Santo Niño Biaan ako. And si Sir Ethan po, he's currently taking his PhD po in special education. Hello po Sir and Ma'am. Okay, and how about Sir Popoy naman po? Sir Popoy, Doc Popoy. Busy pa po ata si Sir Popoy. Si Ma'am Reg po muna. Ma'am Reg.
Po, Dr. Benji. So this is
Yeah,
not really
ma'am.
a tip for everyone and to my teammates specifically, but a reminder, as mentioned earlier, yeah, things could be difficult sometimes and things could be disorganized, na malilito tayo kung nasan na ba tayo in the process of writing a research. Pero we always have to go back to our SOP. That's the heart of our study, and sorry, those are the questions that we seek to answer. So doon lang po tayo laging babalik. And in case naliligaw pa rin po tayo at hindi tayo sure, please don't hesitate to seek help. We are here. And yeah, tulad din ng sabi ni Ma'am Edlin kanina, may times din na busy tayong lahat and may times man po na hindi natin alam yung mga bagay-bagay, but rest assured that we are here and willing to learn for you and with you. Yun po. Thank you so much po.
Thank you po. Yan. Lastly po, si Sir Popoy, baka ready na po. Available na po. O baka ginagawa po. Okay, so sige po. Ngayon naman po, this time hingan naman po natin ng message from, kahit po siguro dalawa lang, no, from the participants. Sino po ang gusto po magbigay ng message from our participant? Parang closing program po ito. Pwede po ba akong tumawag? Can we hear from Sir Robert?
Sir, good morning po.
Good morning po.
Ako lang po sir ay nagpapasalamat lalo na po nagkaroon ng gantong activity ang PUP nakapag-tie up sa aming mga kasi actually sir, alam mo naman po na though marami po talaga sa aming mga teachers ang gustong mag-research pero since nga po medyo walang guidance, medyo nahihirapan din po sila. Ngayon po, tinake talaga namin yung opportunity na ganito since lalo na po meron pong gag-guide sa amin, may mga facilitators. So lubos po ako nagpapasalamat. Isa po ako sa mga napili ng aming school na mag-participate po dito. And doon sir, na-refresh din po yung aming mga kaisipan regarding po sa kung paano talaga yung pag-prepare at malaking bagay at malaking tulong po ito sa aming lahat. So maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat din po Sir Robert sa willingness po ninyo, no, na matuto at mag-participate po sa program namin. And last po, sino po ang gusto magbigay ng message from the participant? Ma'am Lorna? Pwede po ba si Ma'am Lorna?
Yes po, Sir Benji.
Yes, ma'am. Morning po.
Yes, I would like to thank all the facilitators of the PUP for giving us the opportunity regarding research and for the beginners to open their eyes on how to conduct the research properly. And of course, the most important thing is Maribeles is the number one who have the approved research proposal. And it's a big count for the District of Maribeles. And once again, thank you so much and kudos PUP Bataan and of course the SDO Bataan. Maraming salamat po. And to our coordinator, Ma'am Leanne, for giving us the opportunity also. Thank you so much and God bless.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much din po. Thank you din po sa ating partner sa MAAP, no po. And yeah, no, thank you po sa lahat na nag-participate from the organizers and sa ating po participants. Kung wala po tayo dito, hindi po magiging successful itong ating program. Okay po? So yun lamang po. Happy research po sa ating lahat. Goodbye po. Thank you po.
Thank you po. Bye-bye po.
Thank you. Thank you po sa pag-attend.
Po. Again, the evaluation and attendance form po.
Phase 3, kita-kita po tayo. Phase 3.
Thank you. Sir, wala pang